Ian Powel from Loud Minds TV, a.k.a. Uncle Loud. Thank you so much for joining us today on the show.
Yeah, good afternoon. Thank you for having me. It's good to see you.
Great to see you too. And let's talk about the cannabis industry in Massachusetts specifically, because there's a little bit of news going on. But I want to talk about you first. Tell me a little bit about your background in the industry and where your passion comes from.
Yeah, I'm what you call legacy. I've probably been smoking since 2002, since 2003. And essentially, I had the best tree and everybody wanted to smoke with me. And that really gave me the opportunity to build a vast network. And that ended up being with celebrities, name drop, bringing Little Uzi here to Boston for his first show, to doing great civic engagement things with working with like Mel King. And everything in between. And then my loud reviews, my events, and always selling out. And that just really put me in a place of advocacy because now we're in legal industry. Mm-hmm. And so making sure the people that look like me and didn't have the same resources and accesses have an opportunity to be here. And so I represent them while being me. So they know they can do it too.
Absolutely. You know, it's so important to have advocacy, you know, for equity in this industry because it cannot be equal sometimes. So advocating for that is extremely important. Like I was saying earlier, there's some recent sort of cannabis legislation news, including the federal ban that was included in the government reopening bill. But let's start locally. Recently, there's been a signature campaign, a public signature campaign, to put a question on the 2026 Massachusetts ballot to end legal adult use cannabis. Can you tell us what's happening here?
Yeah, my man Chris Barone has been doing a great job, you know, on social media and online, just spreading the word about it and the misinformation about that. But essentially, they're just trying to take us back to the old ages. What I would actually even pay more attention to is, you know, what's happening in the Senate right now, because I don't think that's really going to happen. So what's happening on the Senate, there's a lot of new laws that have just might get chopped. So Senator Liz Miranda right now, she had a bill that so long story short, they wanted to have 6 licenses instead of, we already had 3, which Shalene Title, when she was the commissioner, that's what she created, and that's what we've, you know, thought was best for social equity, as you stated. So now Senator Liz Miranda capped it at 4. So I was there, I think it was last Wednesday at the State House. So they locked out the Senate. So there's a lot of bills that they're already happening here in Massachusetts that they're really trying to revamp. And I would say follow Liz Miranda. There's a lot that's going on, and a lot of our representatives are really doing a great job.
Right. And, you know, can you give us a little bit more details about what some of the content of these bills are?
Yes, absolutely. So essentially, they're just butchering the social equity bills. So I would like to quote Ayanna Presley when I interviewed her. She said, you know, the people closest to harm should be the people that shouldn't be harmed. Yeah. And so whether if it's the licensing caps, whether if it's helping us getting more funding, I would actually recommend, and I was going to say this later, to follow Mass Eon, which is my favorite nonprofit that deals with social equity and all the laws and all the policies. So they help that initiative with Liz. I keep saying Liz because I know her, but Senator Miranda put these bills in place.
Right. If they were to try to take away the equity in the cannabis industry, how would that affect sort of the local economy? You know, why would A.G. Campbell sign off on these sort of bills if she knows that the cannabis was fully approved and legalized less than 10 years ago in 2016? Sort of, what's your take on where this is coming from?
I would look at that as more as just paperwork, procedural, because that's what she has to do. She's not signing off on attacking small businesses or abolishing cannabis, or does her signature have anything do with advocating for either or? That is just procedural. That's Gotcha. She has to do that. That's the best way I could wear that. But that's not her taking a stance or her opinion or the state's opinion. That's just procedural paperwork. That's just how that rolls out. But yeah, there are people that are trying to ban it, but no, we have a great social equity program here in Massachusetts, and people all the way from Worcester and in between are doing a great job reaching out to their representatives and their reps, and I'm here to help.
Awesome. Yeah. I mean, so your take is that the adult use ban isn't going to happen. It's more just sort of people trying to do something that maybe won't exactly pan out.
Well, we're being challenged, and there's always a place for the opposite side. That's the best thing about being in democracy. The thing is, when you really paid more attention to their tactics, they have you signing up for one thing, and you're really doing, So they're really shady. They're kind of exposing themselves. There are some people who are genuinely against it. Like as much as that I stand for cannabis, I'm not for smoking. And what works for me, I don't advocate what works best for you. I really just advocate that's best for the plant and people navigating their self-healing journey and as an alternative or a holistic option.
Yeah, totally. I agree with you. And I think that, what we've heard about the signature campaign is that it's sort of a false advertising campaign. People are saying, sign here if you want to take fentanyl away from the streets or increase affordable housing. And then they don't realize that they're actually signing a signature campaign to end legal adult use. So yeah, I totally agree. It doesn't really seem like that's a super sustainable strategy to actually get the legislation that you want passed. But okay, well that's semi good news. Hopefully we'll see some fruition in terms of the equity happen. But when it comes to the federal ban that people are sort of talking about of hemp-derived THC, you're an expert. What does that mean? And will that affect us here in Massachusetts?
So, I mean, again, talking about Massachusetts, we're really one of the best models, and we're very strict. So that's why you don't see that in dispensaries.
Right.
You're going to see that at the gas stations or those smoke shops with the weird packaging, with the fun advertisement. So that doesn't affect us, or like the CCC is not.
Gotcha.
So even the multi-state operators to the mom and pop local around the corners, that's the gas stations. Those, and I don't even know what those are. So, and nor do I partake. So,
For sure, for sure. I think it's just there's a lot of terms, and for people who are maybe just starting or don't know anything about it, it can just be very confusing. So thanks so much for clearing all of that up, because it's a lot of bureaucratic language alongside a lot of non-bureaucratic language, so it can just sort of confuse everybody. What can residents in Massachusetts and in Boston do to advocate for equity in the cannabis industry?
you can be just like me, a person who loves the tree. Follow Loud Minds TV. Wow, that rhymes.
There you go.
But genuinely, because that's why I'm the outreach manager for Mass Eon, and they do all the hard work. They help pass the bills and organize, and I don't want to even use the word dumb it down, but they simplify and they explain what's at stake and what's needed and how to help. And it's really just that easy and accessible. So follow me at Loud Minds TV. That's my website. That's my IG. And if I could hold it closer up right there, you can just scan that QR code, and that's Mass Eon. And again, follow us as well. But that's my favorite nonprofit other than City Life Urbana. So
Yes, absolutely. And we love City Life here. They're a fabulous organization, different aspects, but still so important. I would love to collaborate with Ian as well and get them in the studio to talk about these important issues. But thanks so much for joining us, Ian, to sort of clear up this sort of misinformation campaign more than anything. It seems like it is. And just sort of simplifying everything. I appreciate it.
yeah, thank you for your time, and hopefully we'll get to talk about some other things that are really good that's happening soon. So enjoy your day.
Thank you, you too.